What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Jimmy Faluca reporting with Frank in part two. Frank, I know you said that you wanted the floor on the beginning of the second segment, so you got it, buddy. Go ahead. Talk to the people.
Well, what started the whole crap about the cancer girl was the promo between Owens and Cena on Raw. And it all started because Kevin Owens said he has a son at home, who, by the way, in real life, one of the sons is autistic. He said that his son is a big John Cena fan, just like all the other kids. And he's mad because the reason why he's a John Cena fan is because for the last 10 years, Owens has been out on the road, all over the world, trying to fulfill his dream and become a WWE superstar. Okay, this is what the WWE is doing now. It's a role model versus role model. Who's the better role model? And that's why Cena says, your son likes me because I'm this, I'm that, and I'm great, and I'm good at your shoes, and all that crap. So that's how the promo started. So to say that it's exploitation, it's rigged. Both Owens and Cena, I'm sure that they probably added ideas into the promo. So you can't really get mad at them. It's just what I get mad at is the Cena character is limited, and it's all he's worth is cancer and making a wish and being the goody two shoes, because that's all he could do. And without that, he's booed. And I don't like the manipulation. He's not manipulating the cancer kids. He's manipulating the fans. The fans who hate him. He's making
Please elaborate on.
He's making you choose between liking him because cancer kids love him and he gives back, or boo him. And if you boo him, you're a piece of shit. So you gotta like him. Or at the very least, don't boo him. So enough with that.
Yeah, seriously, because
what you call Kevin Owens, I read he used his son in an angle a couple of years back in a storyline. So is that exploitation? I don't know.
if it's your own kid, if it's his own kid, no one can really say anything because it's his son.
That's also what I'm saying. For anybody who says that this is exploitation, it's not exploitation of the kids. It's exploitation of you, the fans. It's manipulating the fans. Because I will assure you, if John Cena picked that kid out of the crowd, those parents could sue the shit out of him and sue the shit out of WWE. They have to sign waivers. Any kid you see, God rest his soul, Connor, the parents have to sign a waiver. So I just want to point that out. Nothing is random. Nothing that comes out of the goodness of his heart. It's all legal and planned and pre-scripted. And I'm going to end it with that, and we can talk about something else.
Yeah. Because quite honestly, I really don't want to talk about him anymore. Unless we're actually going to discuss a match that he's in, I have no desire to discuss him anymore. Let's see. We got Money in the Bank coming up, which unfortunately now I got to get back into him. We got Kevin Owens versus Cena Part 2. I don't think Kevin Owens is winning the second one.
I don't think as long as he doesn't get pinned, it's okay.
That's exactly what's going to happen, Frank.
As long as he doesn't get pinned or submit, it's okay.
But that's exactly.
When he submits, it's over. His character's trash.
Now why is it over if Kevin Owens gets pinned or submitted?
Because it's just he'll be like everybody else. You're losing money in him. Just like that with Dean Edwards said back then when they wanted the Shield to.
Can you please elaborate? Can you please elaborate on that story, Frank? Because I know if it comes out of my mouth, people won't take it seriously.
I'm surprised if people don't know about it. On the Jericho podcast, Dean Ambrose told Jericho that they wanted the Shield to job out to Cena, And he said no. All three of us said no. We banded together and said no because if he beats us, we're like everybody else. He beats everybody. So and that equals being different, being special, separating yourself. What did I say in the last segment? 90% of the roster is damaged. Because why? They lose often and frequently to anybody and everybody.
And everyone says that I'm crazy for thinking that the booking sucks.
How could you get behind somebody? They pushed them for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then the next night, and then the next 2 weeks they're losing in 3 minutes. It's like your team, your basketball team. Your basketball team goes on a 10-game winning streak, and then for the next 2 weeks they're losing every game to the worst team in the league. Or just to anybody. So how can you get behind that team if that's going to happen all the time?
You can't.
So then when they start winning, you're like, this is just, they're going to lose soon, don't worry about it, so you can't get behind it. Does John Cena lose all the time? No. It's fucking world, internet breaking news because he lost a match clean.
Yeah, because no one expects him to lose clean because...
Right, because he never loses.
No, it's the losing clean. Cena's lost matches.
He hardly ever loses clean. In 10 years, he's probably lost clean maybe 5 times.
Which is ridiculous.
Right.
He doesn't even lose cleanly when it's like 2-on-1, 3-on-1, Frank.
Right, and then he makes. I know we're going to not talk about it. And then again, another thing that's bothersome about him. Then when he does lose clean, and then it's always an excuse, or he tries to fucking twist it and turn it. And
I found it amusing that he said that Kevin Owens isn't a man. So then that means he lost to someone who isn't a man.
Right. That's so stupid. Kevin Owens beat him clean. He didn't cheat.
No, he didn't.
He didn't cheat. He beat him clean. So I don't understand why.
And then he turns around and says that Kevin Owens doesn't deserve to be the NXT champion when I believe he beat Sami Zayn clean for the belt. He beat him again clean. He beat Finn Balor clean. He beat Alex Riley. Every match Kevin Owens has won, he has won clean as a bell.
Yeah. Why doesn't he deserve to be
An argument could be made. Seth Rollins doesn't deserve to be WWE champion in kayfabe.
It's all storyline shit.
No, but I'm saying in kayfabe. In kayfabe, the argument.
They're pulling strings. They're pulling strings. It's just it's all about making the kids believe in him. He's a good guy. Kevin Owens is his
But they've had 10 years of footage to see him overcome the odds. Why does he still got to Why does he still got to over?
He's a good guy.
I don't see. There's no way in. I will be happy if Kevin Owens at least wins the feud.
I think Kevin Owens should get it. Maybe should get.
He should win. He should win the United States Championship from Cena at SummerSlam. How great would that be? How great would that be?
Yeah, either that. I think the end of the feud, Samoa Joe should get involved, and I think Samoa Joe gets involved at the end of the feud. That's
it. If Kevin Owens loses the feud, then he's like everybody else, and it was a lost cause.
Yeah, Kevin Owens should get built up for the rest of the year. Maybe he goes up against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
You want to know what's funny, though, Frank? He's the hottest commodity WWE has right now. He's feuding with, 4 or 5 different people at the same time? Sami Zayn, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, John Cena, all at the same time.
Let me tell you, if you build him up right, and you don't make him get pinned till WrestleMania, him against Lesnar is a believable match.
Yes. And when he does finally lose, it means something.
Right.
Not just having him job to the usual guy you always have all your monster heels job to. Why give him the rub when you could give somebody else who actually needs the rub? Somebody like a Finn Balor needs that kind of rub. Someone like an Adrian Neville needs that kind of rub. Someone like a Samoa Joe, who has only been in the WWE for a cup of coffee, needs that rub. Not a guy that's Hall of Fame bound, right or wrong, Frank?
Right.
And now we move on to the Money in the Bank ladder match, which is featuring Dolph Ziggler, I don't know why. Sheamus, I don't know why. Kofi Kingston, I don't know why. Randy Orton, I don't know why. Kane, I don't know why. And the guy that's going to win, Roman Reigns.
Well, I think they said they're going to have 2 more people. It's going to be 8 people.
Let me, Roman Reigns is winning the briefcase. I have no doubt in my mind.
I think so. I think even if they do add people, I think they're going to add Dean Ambrose and maybe somebody else. And I think that it's going to come down to Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns.
See, now if they had and also this also ties into the next match, which is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship. If they had any brains, this is the most elaborate. Money in the Bank is usually a very exciting pay-per-view. And it is usually a very exciting show with a lot of twists and turns. Look at the 2011 show. From top to bottom, it was just a great show. Now, Frank, if I was booking the territory, as Austin would say, I would have Dean Ambrose go over. He would win the title. But you pull the same thing you pulled with Daniel Bryan. And I'll tell you why. Would Daniel Bryan have gotten as popular as he did if the fans didn't feel like he was getting the short end of the stick?
No.
Probably not. I think that him getting booked badly ended up helping him in the long run. Because now the fans feel like, you know what, this guy's popular and you're fucking him over and it makes no sense. If they had any brains, this is what you do at Money in the Bank. You have Roman Reigns win the Money in the Bank. I'm sure he'll get a wonderful reception. Sarcasm. And then you have Dean Ambrose beat Seth Rollins for the belt. Roman Reigns hits the ring after the Authority comes down to beat down the new champion. He clears the ring. Somehow in all of this is, if I was booking it, this is how it would perfectly be done. In all of this, Seth Rollins gets tied up in the ropes. Right? You with me? Dean Ambrose acknowledges Roman Reigns. Thanks for helping me, brother. He goes to grab Seth Rollins, and what does he get? A Superman punch. He then eats a spear. Roman Reigns points to Triple H. Triple H says, ring the bell. Roman Reigns cashes in, becomes the WWE Champion. Hugs Triple H, and Seth Rollins is like, what are you doing? Triple H is saying, you want to know something, Seth? I believed in you, but all you did was bitch, moan, whine, and complain. I tried to get you to see things my way. I told you you needed Kane. I told you you needed J&J. You wanted to come out here on your own. You got your ass kicked. So you know what? There's always a plan B. Now you tell me that wouldn't be exciting television. You get the belt on the guy you want, and the end game is for Roman Reigns to eventually break away from the Authority and defeat Triple H. I mean, you want to get the guy over right? You got to do it right. Roman Reigns could turn around the next night and say, listen, I busted my ass to get to WrestleMania, and you people turned on me. So guess what? You wanted your hero, Dean Ambrose, to win the belt? Guess what? It's on me now. Learn to like it.
That's awesome. I agree.
Now you tell me that wouldn't create... Now you got Dean Ambrose versus Roman Reigns, and 2 years in a row, the Shield is occupying Hell in the Cell. Because it would culminate at Hell in a Cell with Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns.
Listen, I think that's money, man.
You want to do things right. Sometimes you got to listen to your audience. Dean Ambrose would become more over than he's ever been. And honestly, the end game...
eventually get to you want to get the Shield triple threat for the belt.
I would do that at WrestleMania.
Right.
And I'll tell you how I would do it. Seth Rollins...
SummerSlam's a big pay-per-view.
You're not listening.
What?
WrestleMania 32, which we're going to get into next, has to be the best WrestleMania of all time. Because you want 105,000 people in there. What?
It's going to get sold out regardless.
No. You can't have that mindset, Frank.
It is going to get sold out regardless.
But you can't have that mindset. You have to have the mindset of...
For that WrestleMania.
But Frank, the mindset you have to have when you're trying to fill a building is we have to put our best foot forward. We have to put our best effort into making sure that this show, top to bottom, is flawless. And the last thing you should have at WrestleMania 32 is Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins versus WWE Champion Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. And you want to know the truth of the matter? You want to know how you build up that match? Seth Rollins from January to WrestleMania is chasing Roman Reigns. Officially, he would be using the Phoenix Splash. Now you don't need the curb stomp. Curb stomp's basically a heel maneuver. He uses the curb stomp. He uses the Phoenix Splash as a finish.
Right, that's what he's using the pedigree now as a finish.
But he's a heel. He's healing it up.
Oh, I understand.
But the second he turns face, he would use the Phoenix Splash as his finish. Now, Seth Rollins is going into Seth Rollins. Now, you could do this one of two ways. You could do it one way where from October all the way through to the Rumble, Dean Ambrose is down in the dumps. He's fucking pathetic. Both his brothers turned on him. He's a complete mess. I don't think WWE would go there, but I would show him at one point laying in the back of the alley of one of the arenas with a bottle of beer in his hand, and he'd just be like this. I would make him come off as John McClane did in Die Hard with a Vengeance, where he would have to grow more facial hair, where he'd have to look not gruff like Daniel Bryan, but 5 o'clock shadow. Listen, I think about these things because storylines and details are very important. Now, wait, let me finish. I need one more minute of this. You have Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns wrestle at the Royal Rumble 1-on-1 to a no contest. And Seth Rollins is demanding he gets his 1-on-1 match following that with Roman Reigns. Now, at the Royal Rumble, it depends. To me, it depends, But if you're going to go with the Shield triple threat, Seth Rollins is still owed a 1-on-1 match. What you do is this. At number 30, you have Dean Ambrose march out there. He wins the Royal Rumble. You tell me that building wouldn't erupt. Now think about this. Seth Rollins is owed a rematch with Roman Reigns because it went to a no contest. Dean Ambrose is the number 1 contender. There's your recipe. Or you have Roman Reigns wrestle a babyface at the Rumble, and Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose both eliminate each other in the Rumble at the very end. It's a double Royal Rumble win. And they both are the number 1 contender.
Jimmy, all your ideas are great, but you're forgetting Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar should not be wrestling for the championship at WrestleMania.
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm saying, if you don't think John Cena is going to be in the main event this year at WrestleMania, do you think they're going to keep him out 2 years in a row, or 3 years in a row?
He has no place in the main event anymore, Frank. He's had his time. It's time to build the future. WrestleMania 32 has to be about building the future. Now, I don't know what you do with John Cena at WrestleMania 32 if you do the triple threat match with the Shield. I really don't know what you do with him. And quite frankly, I really don't give a shit what you do with him. Just keep him as far away from The Undertaker as possible. Because at WrestleMania, you have the Shield triple threat match. That closes the show. I don't care what nostalgia acts you have. I don't care what insecurities you have on who draws, whatever. With the names we're going to have on this show, it won't matter who closes. Because if I'm going to give you a for instance, I personally didn't feel that The Rock versus John Cena should have closed WrestleMania 28. Because people were going to buy that pay-per-view just because The Rock was on there. It didn't matter where The Rock was. If they would have said Rock's fighting John Cena at WrestleMania, you really think the fans gave a fuck if it was the main event or not?
No, you could put it. You could put it. That's the last show.
So the point I'm trying to make is the fact that you have the big names on the show should not immediately afford them the last match on the card. Because that's one thing CM Punk is right on. The main event is the last match. And the last match should be the Shield Triple Threat match. That's one match. Another match that's rumored is Triple H versus The Rock. You do that match, that's instant money. Not because of Triple H, but because of The Rock. And plus the history. That's one match. Would you have a problem with that match, Frank?
Not at all.
Okay, that's one. Another match that's being rumored is a match that I've been dying for since I'm 7, and I'm smiling as I'm saying it because it's actually rumored, and it may actually happen because they're both under the same roof, is The Undertaker and Sting. Frank and I have discussed that match ad nauseum. We've discussed the storyline. It writes itself. I don't think anybody in the world, except for maybe one or two people, would have a problem with that match. What about you, Frank?
No, I think that should happen.
I think
you
that...
Remember, there can only be so many big matches. You can't have 10...
Frank, they're looking to get 105,000 people into this building. It's going to be all hands on deck. You understand that this show is going to be all hands...
Where does that leave the rest of the roster? Where does that leave the
Let me finish. Trust me, I haven't forgotten. Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold is another rumored match, but I don't think it's happening for the simple fact that I think that Paul Heyman and Steve Austin were just trying to show the main roster how to cut promos properly. Cut it with your gut, not with this. Cut it with your gut, not with your brains. Your gut. Stone Cold and Paul Heyman, I do not think we're really setting up Brock Lesnar versus Stone Cold.
No.
What they were doing was demonstrating how to cut a promo properly.
Exactly.
Now, what do you do with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? What do you do with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32?
I don't know.
What do you do with John Cena at WrestleMania 32? I don't know.
You can't have John Cena versus Brock Lesnar again.
Not at all. Nobody wants to fucking see that. Personally, if I had my way, which I probably won't.
I think right now they should really aim at a Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar street fight a street fight at WrestleMania, something like that.
See, now what I was originally going to do is Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. But I guess maybe we should save that for a later date since they're both going to be on the main roster.
Yeah, they'll have plenty of time. They'll have plenty of chances to...
Well, could you imagine Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar?
If they fill the money.
Okay, now we got to find an opponent for Captain Pandering.
I think WrestleMania it should be Roman Reigns versus Cena for the belt.
Why would you want to put John Cena in the main event? Haven't we had enough of that?
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be the main event. But I think it's the way if you're gonna get Roman Reigns over.
Yeah, but Roman Reigns right now, he's not universally over, and we want to get him universally over. He wins the Rumble 2 years in a row. You really think that's going to help him? I think it'll hurt him.
I think Cena's going to win the Rumble this year.
That would make me sick to my fucking stomach.
I'm telling you, if you think that he's not going to get the belt again soon, you're sadly mistaken.
I don't want to. I don't even want to think about him.
What do you think is going to happen after he drops the belt? What do you think he's going to disappear and tag up with Damian Sandow?
He doesn't belong in the main event of
wrestling. He's just taking a break right now to get Seth Rollins over, to get all these guys over.
He had his time, Frank. He had his time.
Who's that?
Cena had his time.
Okay, I agree.
See, and most people don't understand this about me. This actually upsets me. As a fan, it upsets me. Because a guy's a 15-time world champion. What more do you want? He had 10 years, longer than Bruno and Hogan.
This guy's got 5 strong years left.
Honestly, if you want to know the truth, you know what you do with John Cena at WrestleMania 32? If he's healthy, put him in a ring with Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, maybe, why not?
Why not? Cena's never beat him. Bryan would be massively over.
But John Cena would go over that match.
That would make me sick to my stomach.
Well, he would get his win back.
What if Daniel Bryan's the one guy he never beat? Everyone's got the one guy that.
At this point right now, as long as they had a great match, it would be okay for Daniel Bryan to lose.
I think Daniel Bryan needs to come back swinging, Frank.
Yeah, well, listen, Daniel Bryan is over. He's over. He's at this point, with no belts on the line, it would be okay for him. As long as they had a great match, it wouldn't hurt Daniel Bryan to lose. And then they would probably hug it out in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, but then it makes him like everybody else.
He's not everybody else. He already broke the ceiling.
According to some people, he never belonged there in the first place.
Yeah, okay.
They're at it in minds. And I'm actually showing right now, Frank, the Daniel Bryan DVD. This is the first WWE DVD that I've bought since WrestleMania 29. Think about that for a second. I used to collect all the WWE DVDs, Frank. You've been in my home. I haven't bought a WWE DVD since WrestleMania 29. And the only reason I bought that DVD is because I was there. I didn't buy any other DVDs from that company since then. But I bought Daniel Bryan's DVD.
They should have had it out a long time ago.
I've yet to watch it, too. I've been waiting for the right time to watch it, where I wouldn't be interrupted, but I've got so many things going on right now, because I don't want to stop and pause it. I want to sit back and actually digest what I'm watching and enjoy it.
I understand.
Either way you look at it, WrestleMania 32 has to be a stacked card. That doesn't mean you can't feature the young guys. You have to feature them. I think Finn Balor should make his debut that night. Because can you imagine a Finn Balor entrance at WrestleMania?
Oh, it would be great.
That would be huge. I think that the tag team titles. See, now if you're gonna do Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar, here's a match you could do: Sami Zayn versus Cesaro.
Yeah.
Those guys.
You gotta think the way they think. Okay.
Well, you can't just rely on nostalgia acts. You have to feature your guys. You have to feature your Dolph Ziggler's. You have to feature your Bray Wyatts. You have to feature Luke Harper. You have to feature the New Day. You have to feature Ryback. You have to feature Rusev. That's why I think the Money in the Bank pay-per-view should go away, and they should do the match itself at WrestleMania. I think deemed pay-per-views, Frank, as a whole, need to go. TLC, Hell in a Cell, and Money in the Bank, they all need to go. In my opinion. Because it takes away, number one, from the intensity of the match, because you're expecting it. You know it's coming. Whereas years before, when they did a Hell in a Cell match, you didn't see it coming, and when it happened, you were like, oh shit, they're going to lock these two guys in the cell. Or when a TLC match happened, you're like, holy shit, this is going to be good. I didn't see this coming. You expect it. It's not like the Rumble. The Rumble is a tradition, where every January, there's going to be a 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. Now, I'm also going to touch on this. The last 2 years at the Rumble has been a disappointment insanely. Next year's Royal Rumble must be something good. It can't be another disappointment. That's all I'm going to say on that. What do you have to say, Frank?
I agree. I think this year they'll probably play it safe, but I have no idea. It's too early to tell.
But I won't lie. Speculating is one of my favorite things to do, and as part of our show.
Well, it's all of my favorite things to do. It's more fun than actually watching it. But
yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. I actually enjoy the speculation of what's going to happen at the main shows more than I actually do. Like, Frank, this was the first week I watched Raw in 3 weeks, and the second I saw the promo that I saw, I turned it off. I said, "The hell with this."
No, I understand, but I think right now you should just maybe speculate what's going to happen at the SummerSlam.
Well, what I also need is I'm going to need our viewers to give me a hand. What am I going to say to The Undertaker when I meet him in August? What am I going to have him sign? I don't know what to do. I need help.
I don't know. Just ask him about the Sting match. Ask him about the Sting match. Ask him, does it mean to him as much as it means to the fans?
That's actually a pretty damn good question, Frank.
mean as much at this point in his career, or
because it still means something to a lot of fans, man. You look at that poll. You look at that poll that they did. You look at that poll that they did on WWE.com the day after WrestleMania. Who do you want to see Sting wrestle? It was like, it was not even close. Undertaker had the #1 percentile.
No, look, we haven't seen Sting. We haven't even heard him mention Sting since WrestleMania.
I would love to see Sting wrestle one time before he wrestles the Undertaker and get a win. Because if Taker's going to go over, Sting shouldn't have ever.
I want to see at SummerSlam. I want to see Sting versus Triple H at SummerSlam, the rematch.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer to SummerSlam, so hopefully we'll get some answers. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for Frank and I. We enjoyed being here, as we always do. Whether we're happy, whether we're angry, we just enjoy doing this, and we want to enjoy watching the show. I think Frank and I can both admit we never go into a show wanting to dislike it. We go into every show wanting to enjoy it. Right, buddy?
That's the whole fight. We want it to get better.
Exactly. That's all we ask for. All we ask for is good quality and for us to just be listened to. But unfortunately, we live in an era where listening to your audience is passé. But that's going to wrap it up for us for now. Our next show will be the week following Money in the Bank. Hopefully we'll have some more good news for you guys. Until then, take care, guys.